Hi. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be my October wrap up. I read 8 books this month and it was okay. It was an okay reading month. And can you believe it was October and I didn't even read any spooky graphic novels? How could I ever do that? As usual, we are going to go in order of which I have read these. The first book I read this October was Carrie by Stephen King. Stephen! So this story is about a misunderstood girl who goes by Carrie White. She is severely bullied and is kind of like an outcast. Upon being very bullied one day, she discovers that she has telekinetic powers. We love to see it. At prom, a horrible prank goes wrong. And if you guys don't know the story about Carrie, I would like to know, first of all, where have you been? Second of all, what are you doing? And third of all, it is my personal opinion that you should watch the movie if you don't feel like reading the book. I feel like they're very similar, and I just feel like the movie is better. I don't know. I've seen the movie one time, but upon reading the book, I probably prefer the movie. Sorry, I'm done with the story because so much of it I have consumed, and we'll get to that later on in the video. Yeah, and also for this book, I was not a fan of any of the characters, and I am a character girly, so I have to have at least one favorite character. But I'm sorry, not even Carrie. I was not even interested in her, and I don't know if this is because I have consumed so much Carrie media throughout the years of my life, and I was just tired of the story, or if I actually didn't like it, and that is the thing. I should have read it when the Besties read it about 8 years ago. Overall, it is a very unique story, and it is the original. So I had to go ahead and give that a 3-star. Girl, up next I read The Inmate by Freida McFadden. This is my first Freida McFadden book I have ever read. Let me go ahead and tell you what it's about. Brooke moves back to her childhood home that her parents left behind for her after they died in a tragic accident. She gets a job at the prison in town as a nurse. However, this is very dangerous for her because one of the inmates is in prison currently because of her. Period. End of story. That's all you need to know. Okay. So, the amount of times we were gaslit by Miss Freida McFadden into thinking that, oh, it was really this character. Okay, I may be that may sound like I'm dissing the book, however, that's what I really liked about that book, and nobody was safe from Miss Freida. She said, I'm coming for everybody. So the flashbacks, I really enjoyed that because it was very much giving Scream 1 when they went to Stu's house the night of the party. The flashbacks, I believe, all took place in mostly one night, and they were just giving that party the whole time, and I was totally here for it because we get the suspense element of it all, and that's what I live for. There were some good twists in the story and some predictable twists in the story, as there would be in every thriller. All of the suspects, I feel, were believable in the whodunit. At one point, this girl had me thinking that everyone was guilty, okay? And that they were all in teams, okay? I'm not going to tell you if that actually happens or not because I want you to read this and I want you to chat with me about it. I rated this book a 4.25 stars because I did not mess with the main character, Brooke. Brooke, she did not know how to make up her mind. She was accusing someone of being the whodunit and every other chapter, bro. But paranoia is real for real. It's hard out here for a girly like Brooke. And then I can't remember specifically, but there was also one thing that I was actually no. So it was a 4.25 for me. Now I know most of you guys have read this book. The only one left. The amount of whiplash I had reading this book, okay? Kit goes to Hope House to be a stay-at-home nurse for Lenora Hope. Lenora Hope was accused of murdering her entire family in the 1920s. Okay, remember that, because they keep talking about the 1920s, even though it didn't feel like the 1920s. And when was this book even set in, first of all? Anyways, so in the 1920s. But now, Lenora is partially paralyzed, so she is not harmful, and she needs assistance. Twists and turns happen in this book as Kit wonders, did Lenora actually commit the crime that everyone says she did? Okay. The amount of twists in this book was excessive, honestly. Like, if there was, like, 2 or 3 less twists, then period, you give me 5 stars. It was, like, so many. Like, I heard people on the internet saying that there were so many twists, and I was like, girl, how can this book be good? Because some of you guys are out here rating it 5 stars, some of you guys are out here rating it 2 stars. For me, it's illegal that I rated this 4 stars. I did enjoy it. The reason I rated it 4 stars was because I actually liked how thrilling it was. The vibe of it all, the creepiness of the house, and it was the perfect October read for me. That was pretty much my thoughts. I don't want to say too much because I feel like with The Only One Left, there's going to be more to come from me. The next book that I read was called Mr. Magic by Kiersten White. 30 years ago, there was a children's show called Mr. Magic, which featured a group of kids who were like playing imagination games and like doing stuff. And now the show is lost. There's no footage like on the internet or anywhere. And the show has like a cult following on Reddit or something. And the show only exists in the mind of people who watched the show and remembered it, and the kids who were like actually on the show. And now 30 years later, where we are today, the group of kids who are now well into their adulthood are coming together for a reunion type of interview. And the main character does not remember anything about being on this show, and so she's like trying to put the pieces together along the way while she is going on her side quest with these random people who she just met in her adult years but she knew in like childhood. I don't know. I have conflicting feelings about this book because in the beginning it was so good, it was so thrilling, and the show was giving Spy Kids 1, you know, with oh my god, what the heck is his name? Floop, I think was his name, with Floop and the little thumb people. Give me more of that. And I really wanted to see more of the Mr. Magic show and the lore behind it. We mostly got the adulthood life or whatever. This book was okay. Like, I was expecting to like it much more than I actually did going in. But it was literally just fine. Like, that's all that I have to say was it was just fine, you know? So I rated it 3 stars. I didn't like the romance, and I honestly do not remember the end, like, at all. So if you guys have read this, please let me know what happens at the end because I don't remember. Next, I read Jurassic Park by, okay, so first of all, I don't know how to say this man's name. Michael Crichton, I think how you say his name. Period slay Michael, go off, because first of all, I read this book with Allie, bestie Allie from Allie Read a Book, period. Shout out, thank you so much for reading this book with me. It was honestly like such a better experience than I would have if I read it by myself. Let's get into it. Shout out to Michael because I don't like sci-fi. Like, I'm just like being honest. Like, I don't do it. I don't mess with it like that. But he had me hooked. And I was honestly shocked that I liked this book as much as I did. So, scientists discover a way to recover and clone dinosaur DNA. And all of the dinosaurs are contained in Jurassic Park for them to like study, whatnot. And one day, things go terribly wrong. I have not watched the movie to this in like forever. And first of all, I never watched the end, but I did read the book in October, and I did finish the book, period. The story was entertaining, and I was freaking invested in what those dinosaurs were doing to those people, and it was honestly a little bit horrifying. There was one scene with this with a guy named Needy. Disgusting. I wonder if that happens in the movie, because I don't remember. There was honestly like a little bit too much, not too much, but the science in this book, I was like, those are numbers. You guys are talking about stuff. Yes, co-op, yes, scientist jargon. Okay, but even me not like understanding what the heck they were talking about, I still did understand what they were talking about, and I was able to follow along. So I wasn't too lost, which is good, because like that's why I don't like sci-fi books, is because some of them like lean too much on the side of the sci-fi, and I'm just like, what the heck are you even talking about? Okay, so yeah, shout out to Michael, because he really did the thing with that. However, unshout out to Michael, because I feel like some of these men authors just have never even like met a woman before in their life ever. It's just like kind of funny, but it's not at the same time, because like women struggle on a daily basis. But it's kind of funny because like if you think about it, like that's their idea of we. And like let me not get into that right now. We're doing a wrap up. We're not like talking deep. If you guys want to chat deep with me, you guys can request the Zoom and we can chat about So whatever rant I just went on, I rated this book 4 stars because it was entertaining, regardless of the fact that this author never met a woman in his life, and I could follow along even though there was a whole bunch of science, and there was a twist that was great, and it was an enjoyable experience. Buddy reading this with Owly. Thank you. So I read that book 4 stars, period, slay. The next book I read is The September House by Carissa Orlando. Margaret lives in her dream home. It's everything she could have ever dreamed of. It's so beautiful, spacious, the view, everything, darling. However, it is haunted, and it's extra specially paranormal in the month of October. The girlies go wild in October for some reason. September. They go wild in September. My God. So there's just like an extreme amount of paranormal activity in September, and the walls freaking bleed, okay? One day her husband is like, I can't take this anymore. I gotta get out of here, girl. Peace. And so he pieces out. And their daughter, Catherine, has been trying to contact her dad for like weeks or months or something. And she is like, yo, mom, where the heck is dad? Like, have you heard of him? I haven't heard of him in months, literally months. And then the mom is like, it is what it is, basically. And Catherine is like, girl, no, this is not, it is what it is. He is missing, and I am coming up there in September. So Margaret's like, oh my God, why is this girl coming in September? I have to hide this from her. Okay? Oh my God. The flashbacks were incredible. The way that everything was tied together, and how you can see so much of how much of a passive person Margaret is. It's not like spelled out for you, but you get it from context clues. That's what I really like about this book, was because it all just flowed very well together, and the rules that Margaret had for dealing with people was absolutely heartbreaking. And the maid had me busting out laughing with the axe in her head, and she was just walking around doing like everyday things. Okay, so this book was kind of funny, but also serious, and also a good ass story. The near end where the book almost shifts in a certain way, that really freaking got me. That really got me. I was like, hold on, we are not about to pull an R.L. Stine up in here. Now that I'm talking about it, I might have to up my rating, because I rated this 4 stars. So now I'm thinking that I might be rating it like 4.5 5 or something. That's not like a big deal for a lot of people, but it is for me. And then I read All's Well with Bestie Maddie from As Told by Maddie. As you guys know, this is one of my favorite books. So when Bestie Maddie was like, oh, yo, I'll read this with you, I was like, ah! Actual excitement, tears streaming down, screaming, crying, throwing up. Look how much I tapped it. Can you tell? Yeah, Mona Wad. Nobody writes like Mona Wad does. Honestly, if you guys are unaware, if you've never been on my channel before ever in your life, let me tell you what this book is about. Miranda, why am I pointing to this as Miranda? Maybe it is. I don't know. Miranda is a drama professor specifically at a university, and she's in chronic pain because her hip and her back and her leg hurts all the time from a previous accident that she had on stage when she was performing, okay? And so she wants to put on All's Well That Ends Well, the Shakespeare play. Hello, have you heard of Shakespeare? And this play is controversial because is it a comedy? Is it a tragedy? That is up for debate and like real life, and it's one of Shakespeare's less popular plays because don't nobody like it. And so the students are like, this play is awful and we want to do Macbeth. And then she's like, absolutely not, never ever come to me with that motherfucking name. She was like, don't even come at me with that Macbeth mess because that's not going to happen. One day she gets out of physical therapy and she's like, I'm literally going to end it all right here. Like, I can't take this anymore. I can't do this. And so she goes, and I'm telling you guys too much. You'll have to read the book. If you guys like books with actors and you like books with Shakespeare retellings, please read this book. And unlikable main characters, because Miranda is awful, but boy oh boy is she hilarious to me. That's kind of bad because she's a terrible person, but she's kind of funny. Like, you can't say she's not, honestly. What can I say? 5 stars. Thank you, Maddie, for reading it with me. Period. Slay. The last book that I read was The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. It's a Carrie retelling. Maddie. Maddie's the main character's name. She goes to school, is hiding the fact that she is black from the whole entire population because in Yeehaw, Georgia, in that school, they were racist. And so she tries to hide the fact that she is black, but one day it starts to rain and her hair gets wet and it starts to return to its natural state. And so everyone's like, oh my god, is Maddie actually black? And then they discover her secret. Yeah, so she gets bullied for that. So it's set up in a similar way as Carrie is, to where she has like telekinetic powers, and her father is religious, and these kids are like tricking her into going into prom, and then she gets a prank played on her, and then she goes off. Okay, so it's like the same type of thing. It's like a retelling. This is my second time reading it. I read this with my book club, the Women's Wrong support group on Fable. If you want to come on down. It's for free. Period. So we have fun over there, we have fun over here, we have fun everywhere. Trigger warning, this book is extremely traumatic, and it's also good for her. Good for Maddie, period. I don't know. I had so much to say, and then all of my thoughts just disappeared from my mind. So if I have something more to say about The Weight of Blood, I will let you guys know. In the end, I ended up rating this book 4 out of 5 stars. I had to knock it down because I think it was user error, where I was just so tired of the story because I've heard it so many different ways, so many times, that I was like, okay, actually I'm done. So I went ahead and rated that 4 stars. And that's everything that I read in October. in November. Let me tell you guys a little something. I will be co-hosting a readathon with Maddie Moon from Maddie Moon Library. Go check out her channel if you haven't already. We are co-hosting the Autumnal Witchathon that she has been doing for years. Hello. And this is November 11th through the 18th. Discord link will be in the description below, and also the link to Maddie's channel. Okay, you guys should join. If you like witches, come on down if you want to come on down. There will be more content about the Witchathon coming very soon, because it's so soon and I'm so excited. And last thing I want to say is that the book club pick for the Women's Wrong support group is Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. I am so excited for this because it's been on my TBR for 84 years. She is thick, but we will conquer her. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to go drink a gallon of water. So I am excited for more content to come in November and to talk to you guys, chat, hang out, all that stuff. I will see you later. Bye.